After 3 months, he wanted to leave Arsenal. That's jokes. That's proper jokes.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be an interesting video. Just a bit of, getting outside, getting away from all the seriousness in recent times with Chelsea football and whatnot. We're going to do something different, ladies and gentlemen. Rio Ferdinand, Vibe with Five. It's a very, very good channel, and they have awesome shows there, interviews with players. Recently, they've interviewed Willian, and I want to take a bit of time reacting on certain clips from that particular interview, which there was some good insight. And at the same time, we get to know Willian a little bit, and I think it'll be interesting to share exactly how he felt during the Chelsea time and obviously his Arsenal time as well. So yeah, let's get straight into this. This is going to be quite interesting. Let's have a look at the first clip. I've got 6 clips that I want to go through with you guys. First clip is about him rejecting. So it's all in time order, basically, the journey that we're going to go through and the reaction we're going to do here. The first clip is about him rejecting Spurs and then joining Chelsea. Let's have a look at this particular clip.
They made some offers, but Shakhtar, they didn't accept. So, and when I had the possibility to go for Chelsea again, I was very happy.
What happened with the move to Tottenham? Did you do a medical at Tottenham on the way to sign for Chelsea, or vice versa?
You guys never forget this.
Never.
Oh yeah, it's true. I had a medical with Tottenham, but at the end, I decided to go for Chelsea.
Yeah, well, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm not saying
it's
great.
I think it was a good choice for me, no?
I don't know. I don't know.
That was really gold. I mean, look, before the clip and in that particular show, he was talking about how he's been a Chelsea fan since his Shakhtar days. He's always liked Chelsea. And there was rumors about him joining Chelsea from Shakhtar a couple of years prior from when he actually joined up Chelsea. So a couple of years before that, there was actually rumors around him going to Chelsea, and it just never materialized. But it was very interesting to see how he was in the medical, but his heart was never there for Spurs. It was never ever there. And as soon as Chelsea came in, when obviously the medical was happening, Chelsea came in, the offer came in, and he went straight away and absolutely gave a backhand to Spurs and ended up going to Chelsea. And look at him; he's so happy, and the way he says right at the end, it was a good move, wasn't it? No, and honestly, the cheekiness. But yeah, look. All of us, when we think about Willian, and let's be honest, we've all been critical about him. His production is something that we wanted, but one thing you can never take away from Willian is his work rate. He always worked so hard. I've never seen a winger that was up and down, helping in defense so many times. I remember doing heaps of clips in football Twitter about Willian and his defensive work. There was a reason why a lot of the managers used him, because of his defensive work and how available he was. He barely got injured. Right at the end of the Chelsea career, he started to pick up a few injuries, obviously, but he was non-stop. I remember Frank Lampard's first season, post-lockdown, Willian was playing non-stop every single game, and that was probably prime Willian, 2015 style of Willian, which was really good to see at that time. Let's have a look at clip number 2, where he talks about his favorite manager.
Time as well, he was strong. What was he like? Give us a bit of insight into what it was like working with him.
Best manager for me.
Yeah,
that I work for me was the best.
Why?
I think his way to speak with players, and he's very honest. When you don't play good, he come and say you play shit. And when you play good, he come and say it was good yesterday or something like this. And he's a way to every training was always good, always intense, and the way he talks to us half times, before the games. Yeah, for me, it was the best.
For him, by the way, his best manager was Jose Mourinho. So it was interesting to hear that how much he liked Jose Mourinho. He liked the honesty. I think this is something that's quite important to talk about. The old school players, like Willian, you can sort of class him as an old school sort of style of player. The newer generation these days, this is one of the reasons why Jose Mourinho didn't work out in Man United, didn't work out at Spurs. Not just because of his playing style now needs to develop. Those days of early 2000s when he was with Chelsea, and obviously early sort of 2000, the 13, 14 sort of time, football has sort of developed from those particular times. But one thing these old school players, they liked about Mourinho was the way Mourinho communicated. This is what the whole, the entire particular show, it elaborates even more. So do go out and check that particular video out. And it elaborates the fact that, and Willian touched on it in this clip, that he liked the fact that Mourinho communicated better. When he didn't do well, he'd come out and let them know. When he did do well, he would let them know as well. Halftime speeches, before the matches, speeches. And many of the previous players, the ex-Chelsea players, have had massive praise, in terms of Frank Lampard, John Terry, Didier Drogba. All of them had such great praise about Jose Mourinho. And I think this is the reason why in the newer generation, the newer players, Jose finds a bit difficult, because with these kids these days, you have to sort of manage them in a bit differently. A lot more micromanagement, I feel, a lot more putting your hand around their shoulder, a lot more sort of babysitting kind of type of situation. Whereas back then it was, proper men, do you know what I mean? Communicate, talk. And and it was great to hear from Willian that Jose Mourinho was his favorite manager. He loved working with Jose. Let's have a hear about how he felt about Antonio Conte.
Who's used to winning. What was he like to play under?
He's a good coach. He's a good coach, but not easy to work together. But because his way to speak with the players, but it was a good experience. He's a very good coach.
When you say the way he talks to players, what do you mean? Is he very aggressive? He's very demanding.
Yeah, aggressive, demanding. A lot of in training, he's screaming all the time. But apart of that, he was. I think he was a good coach for us, because we won the Premier League at that year.
You can tell Willian was not a fan of Antonio Conte. It's a lot of screaming, a lot of shouting, aggressive behavior, demanding, training a lot as well. It's not a surprise that some of our players fell out with Conte during that time. I remember Diego Costa was another one that fell out. We all know what happened during, in that particular facade. Cesc Fabregas was another one that sort of got, taken away from the side, and he's got a lot of stories about that. Cesc Fabregas, Willian, we all know the emoji when we ended up winning that particular league, 2016-17, I believe. And Antonio Conte, I mean, he's now at Spurs. Good luck to some of the Spurs players. I mean, maybe this is what Spurs players need. They need a kick up the backside. They need a manager that's going to be ruthless, that's going to be demanding, that's going to be screaming at your face. But it's not always the case. And Willian goes on and talks about how, that particular season, it was a tough sort of situation for him, because I think he was saying, if I remember, his mother passed away as well. And then there were also times where he was playing good. Every time he'd come off the bench, he'd either score or assist, and he wouldn't get the minutes, he wouldn't get the start. And he goes on to say, I remember in that particular show in Vibe with Five in Rio's channel, that he approached Conte and said, you know, how come you're not starting me enough? Because if you guys remember, it was Diogo Costa, Hazard, and Pedro probably his best season that particular season under Antonio Conte. Absolutely sensational. So it was difficult for Willian to get in, but it was interesting to hear what Willian had to say about Conte. And I'd like to see how Spurs goes with Conte. I mean, Willian did appreciate the fact that we ended up winning under Antonio Conte. He said he's a good coach. We won. And you can see why, you know, that hard sort of attitude ends up getting you the victory. It's either because the players are scared or he keeps them absolutely honest and disciplined. So it'll be interesting to see what Spurs are capable of. I want to now share with you what happened in, I think this is the Arsenal clip. Let's have a look. When he went to Arsenal, let's check this out. Or maybe this is Eden Hazard. Give me 1 second.
Hazard.
Yeah, he's now talking about Hazard. All right. So obviously he finished up his Chelsea career, and he was asked who was his, you know, the best Chelsea player that he sort of played with. Let's listen to this.
Hazard.
Hazard. Prime time Hazard.
Why? What is he doing? What is he doing that makes him special? Because, you know, I'm not trying to say that you're the same as Hazard, but you're both not the tallest. You both got the ability to run with the ball, to move with the ball. What makes him different?
I don't know. I can't explain. I can say that it was amazing to play with him. For me, it was the best player that I played together.
Whoa, stop. He's the best player you ever played with?
At Chelsea.
But
sorry, one of the best.
I was going to say, is he better than Neymar?
It's different style. It's different style. Neymar also is a fantastic player. But Hazard, I was with him every day. You know, every day, every games. You know, so his talent was incredible.
It's so beautiful to hear how you can tell Willian and Eden Hazard was such good mates. Especially, I mean, Willian had so much respect for Hazard. They go on to talk about who's the laziest trainer during that time when Willian was there. And he said it was Eden Hazard, by no doubt. But you can see the way he talks about Hazard. Like, there's no words to explain how special talent Hazard was. There's literally no words. You can't. Any word would be a disrespect, to be honest. It wouldn't be enough in regards to explaining how Hazard was. So yeah, it was great to hear from Willian. And I remember there was clips in some of the interviews where Willian said 50% of the games Hazard decided and the other 50% Willian decided, which was quite funny to hear. But incredible. I mean, he puts Hazard in the same levels as, you know, he was saying, one of the best in the world that he's played with, along with Neymar, different sort of styles. And I do believe there are different sort of styles. I mean, Neymar, I suppose, more tricks, whereas, you know, Hazard probably more direct dribbling. Both obviously played in the same role, but yeah, it was great to hear from Willian about that. Let's now listen to what he had to say about his time at Arsenal.
Yeah.
What are the reasons for that, would you say?
I wasn't happy. That's why I didn't perform. You know, I don't want to go into the details. But I wasn't. I wasn't happy.
Just a little bit.
So when I arrived there, I was happy. I was, from the beginning, I was motivating. I was, I wanted to do well. New club, new mates, new project. But after 3 months, I say to my agent, please, I want to go.
You've said.
After 3 months, he just figured it out. My days, what have I done? Come into this absolute S-hole of a club. I mean, I'm not surprised. At that time when Willian left Chelsea to go to Arsenal, actually Willian did say in this particular show that he wanted to stay at Chelsea. He did. He said it in this particular show. And he said that he wanted 3 years. He wanted 3 years. He was quite open about it. And Chelsea would only give him 2. And I think Frank Lampard wanted him to stay. It is what it is. Obviously, he left and we got a whole heap of plethora of players. There is a social media buzz that's going around. Some people are missing Willian and Pedro, and they're also quoting, did they do more during their time frame as opposed to some of the players that we got, in the likes of, Werner or Havertz or, Hakim Ziyech. That's for you guys to debate. I still think, obviously, Pedro was special. And I think Willian was as well. That 2015 season, 2015-16, when Mourinho was under the mud, Willian was sensational that particular season. He ended up winning, player of the season for Chelsea that particular season. Frank Lampard, as I said, his first season after post-lockdown, Willian was very good in terms of driving us to get that top 4, along with a few other players, obviously Christian Pulisic, Olivier Giroud, Mason Mount. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. He left. Obviously, Arsenal gave him 3 years. He wanted that. He wanted to stay in London. This is what he said in the particular show as well. But he summed it up quick. He must have summed it up quick how poor this particular club is in terms of how they run. And Arsenal's got history in recent times of player fallouts, like recently Aubameyang, Xhaka, many others. I remember Robin van Persie obviously left them. Sami Nasri, Cesc Fabregas left them. They just leave. They leave. And, the recent one with Aubameyang, and you can now see it's a bit of an issue in that particular club. And I'm not surprised Willian, it took him 3 months to realize that, my days, contacted his agent and said, let's go, let's get out of here. Here's the final clip where he talks about some of the latest Chelsea talents, young talents, and the ones that he likes.
Young players, yeah. I mean, Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, Reece James.
Which is your favorite?
It's difficult to. I think Reece James. Reece James, I like him.
Did you see him at all when you was there as a young kid or not?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No, he's a good player. I think he can be one of the best right back in the world.
I think he can be one of the best right back in the world. Willian knows ball. He knows ball. Reece James. I mean, out of that pick, Reece James, Mason Mount, and Callum Hudson-Odoi, I'd probably pick Reece James as well. Reece James's development has been incredible this season. He's gone head-to-head with Trent Alexander-Arnold. If it wasn't for all the issues that we've gone through in recent times with the injuries and the positive test cases, Reece would have banged in more goals. He was banging goals. He was banging assists. If you saw my stream yesterday talking about how much of a domino effect it has been since Chilwell and Kante and Kovacic being injured, it's really ruined the way we play our system under Thomas Tuchel, because it was reaping benefits for Reece James and Ben Chilwell. So I'm not surprised Willian went with Reece James, and he said, he noticed Reece James as a youngster in the Chelsea sort of training times back when Willian was there. So, and he stated that Reece James is one of the most favourite ones, along with Callum Hudson-Odoi and Mason Mount. And Reece James to be the number one of the best right backs in the world. Why not? Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I really found that particular interview with Willian quite interesting. If you guys not seen the full interview, I'll leave the link in the description below. Go check that out. I mean, looking back, honestly, Willian was, not as a particular winger that gave all the production, goals and assists season in, season out, but he was a workhorse. And I know every now and then all of us got into we're all guilty for slandering him here and there, because at times it got a bit frustrating. But when you think about it, deep it, sit down, relax. He was a good player for Chelsea. He was a good player for Chelsea, and you know, he's won a lot of things with Chelsea and for Chelsea. So let me know, guys, what you think about Willian in the comments below. What you think about this particular interview with Willian, the reactions. Let me know everything about it. If you've enjoyed this video, smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to keep in touch with all my content. Until next time, see ya.